Alright, so this is a review for the Fullmetal Alchemist movie, the Sacred Star of Milos, which also came out last week with a lot of other things that I got. Um, hmm. This, to me, could have easily been filler episodes, 2 or 3 filler episodes in Brotherhood, but they chose not to. I'm not going to try and draw too many comparisons in between this and the Conqueror of Shambhala because there are vast differences. What I will say about Conqueror of Shambhala was that the animation is better than what's in this movie, and they at least attempted to do something different than what the first series, Brotherhood, and this movie did in terms of the danger which was going on in this movie. This movie is basically Ed and Al back sometime before they deal with Father. This could be a betweener story at some point while they're dealing with a homunculi on Philosopher's Stone, which somebody is trying to recreate in a place called Tabletop Village. And that's the basis for this movie. There's a young girl named Julie who has been captured, and a certain figure who claims to be her brother from the past who is trying to get with her and help make a Philosopher's Stone. Ed and Al come there, and while this is their movie, it becomes very much the guest characters' movie as well. What I like about this movie, besides, it's nice seeing the voice actors back, but we cameo in Mustang, we cameo in Armstrong, Hawkeye, and Winry in this, so they don't take up too much time. There's some really interesting stuff with the story going on. Now, what they have to offer as far as a lot of twists and major plot points, you can spot early on in this movie. And there's kind of a twist ending, which is there's a reveal, but it's more of like a ha-ha reveal, but then we pull back and we do another reveal on something, which concerns 2 villains in this movie. And in fact, there's like 3 sides that the brothers and Julie are having to fight while this is going on. So it's kind of interesting going on. Now, while not entirely similar, Julie and her brother's story, while not entirely similar to how Ed and Al's tragedy befell them, people are quick to spot it, and I really like they don't spend too much time on the backstory, as they often do, about how they came to be. For once, the backstory is just an inspirational thing, and it's not going through the necessity of saying, hey, this happened, and, just in case you're coming into this for the first time, which I doubt a lot of people would do, because I'm thinking only Fullmetal Alchemist fans will watch this movie. But like I said, there's some really good character stuff in here, but there's no real sense of danger for Ed or Al, which is kind of the drawback of a movie like this, which it feels like, just standard filler material, or hey, we want to make a little extra money. So there's no real sense of consequence to it, and the only suspense that we have is what happens to our guest characters in this movie. And I really like the struggle that Julie goes through in terms of her grief, what the tragedy is for her and her brother in their past, and the choices that she has to make to help the village that she's in. The animation is down in quality to me. It's not too bad, but it's not as good as what the series was. I'm guessing there wasn't much of a budget going into it, so it's not really polished off. So it's got kind of a semi-grit quality to it. We have no homunculi in this movie, which is good, and this is also not a conclusion movie to anything that was left over from Brotherhood. This is, just a standalone story, which is kind of nice. But one of the big twists in this movie is a repetition of something that I saw from the original series and I saw from Brotherhood, which is that, and I'm going to go ahead and spoil this, but you might have seen this coming anyway. You're going to see a predictable twist 15 minutes into the movie. For the way that Tabletop Village is set up, it sits on a plateau which is surrounded by a ravine which has a village down within it, and Tabletop Village is warring with another nation, which is on the outside of the ravine bordering Tabletop. And the big twist is that it's a giant transmutation circle. And I'm like, oh geez, that's kind of fun. Haven't seen one of those before. And that was slightly disappointing, but at least if you're able to catch it real quick, you know, you go ahead and get that out of the way and not be annoyed with it when they try to pop you with it later on. And I'm also going to say, as far as like anything supernatural besides the alchemy, which is present in this movie, the chimeras suck in this. We have these uber enhanced werewolf type chimeras, which are barely there in this movie. And I will say that this movie is also the goriest entry into any of the Fullmetal Alchemist TV show or films, which I was surprised at. There's a tremendous amount of blood in this movie. But that's pretty much it, and you know, the blood thing is just more of an observation than a complaint, really. There, like, the reveals at the end of the movie concerning what is to do with Julie's brother, or he who claims to be Julie's brother, and then the general in the gas mask, is kind of interesting. But it's got kind of this thing. It feels a little bit like Ultraviolet, but then they build a little bit more off of it, like the twist that they have with Dax, the bad guy from Ultraviolet. So there's kind of that thing going on. But that's just me quibbling on about it. Overall, for the small nitpicking and the couple of faults that I spot with this movie and the little bit of predictability, this is actually not a bad movie. Is it worth buying? I might have to... I can't really judge that because I haven't rewatched it since then, but I would say that this is a definite Redbox or a Netflix that you could do. It's actually pretty good, and you would enjoy what you're getting out of it, so I'd recommend checking it out.